Hi there, come on in. Last week we had our 90-minute Big Buck Night public TV special where we highlighted the biggest buck racks we could find from each Michigan county that had been taken so far from the 2004 deer season. The surprising thing was the number of counties that had no entries. Now on this show, I'm going to review Big Buck Night in a larger perspective. Zachary has a guide's report of outdoor conditions for this week. And I'll take 5 minutes at the end of the program for a final pledge break of the year for public TV. So stay tuned. It's the December 16th, 2004 edition of The Practical Sportsman.
From the rugged shores and woodlands of the north, it's a story of copper mines and iron ore, the Great Lakes fishery. To the farmlands of the southern counties we'll look around, my friend, and all that waits the sportsman in the state of Michigan. And sometimes when the moon brings out the diamonds in the snow, and the stillness of the forest lies encased in Arctic cold, the wind might whisper through the trees, listen if you can, it tells you of their beauty in the state of Michigan.
I never designed Big Buck Night to be a scientific analysis of Michigan's deer season, but our data has got to be worth as much as the deer counts the DNR does from expressway overpasses. I mean, they use those numbers of deer seen on cars and trucks from a few locations to compute the number of deer they think might have been taken by hunters during the fall hunting season. Now, our data comes from the entries to our Practical Sportsman Hunting Awards. A hunter can qualify for a Big Buck Award 3 ways, and an antler rack, a buck rack has to have at least 10 antler points. It qualifies as a big buck. Or if it doesn't have 10 antler points, but one of the antler tines is 10 inches tall, then that'll qualify. And if it doesn't have the points or the length of the tines, if it's 18 inches wide, that's another way that we define a big buck. Now, over the past 24 years, we've averaged 300 or 400 entries each season. So far this year, we have 153. That's 1.8 deer per county if you average it among Michigan's 83 counties. But you've probably heard that, the northern 2/3 of the state was way below average. Well, let's look at it this way. Let's start with these 28 southern counties below this line. This is where Michigan's human population is concentrated. We had expressways, traffic, suburbs, cities. We had 115 entries from these 28 counties. That is an average of 4.1 big bucks per county. Only 2 counties did not have any entries, and that was Berrien County down here and Macomb County over here. In the 40 counties in the northern lower peninsula, now this is what used to be Michigan's deer country, we had 34 entries, and that's an average of 0.85 big bucks per county. But of these 40 counties up here, over half of them, 23, had no entries at all. Now, if you think that's bad, check out the Upper Peninsula. It used to be the place for big bucks. Now, there's 15 counties up here in the UP. We only had 4 entries in all. That's actually representing 3 counties. It's an average overall of 0.27 big bucks per county. And of the 15 counties, obviously we haven't got entries from 12 of them. Now you have some of the basic data from our awards program. Let's review some highlights from Big Buck Night, where Zachary and I put the spotlight on the counties and the hunters.
Fred, it isn't like the old days. The Upper Peninsula does not have its representation like in the past. We only had 3 counties represented. We're starting with Marquette County, a 19.25-inch spread. Gary Metalski.
So you live in Manistee and go all the way north to hunt?
Yep, my wife is from Marquette.
Oh, and this buck it's a monster, really, for what's been in the Upper Peninsula.
Yeah, it was a nice buck. I haven't seen it before, and I was very surprised when I shot it.
Wow, well that's great, Gary. We have a one coming up here from Menominee County, Zach?
Yep, we're heading over to Menominee County now. This was taken the day after opening day, the 16th. A 10-pointer, John Benniger.
Now, John, this is a 10-pointer, but it's kind of small, but you know it's the third largest one in the UP that we've found.
Well, it's the biggest one I've got up in there, 12 years. So I've had a lot of 8-pointers, but nothing like this. And it's not as big as some to come, but it's a pretty nice deer from up there.
Boy, it sure is a nice deer. Did you see a lot of deer this year?
It's about my 6th or 7th buck. So.
Well, very good. Congratulations, John. Now let's go over to Schoolcraft County. But Dan, you know, you think these 3 bucks are the only ones that we could find from the Upper Peninsula this year. Does that surprise you?
Yes, it does. This is the second biggest one I've ever seen up there, but I didn't get the first one I seen. That was in '99.
Wow.
But there are big ones up there. You just got to look for them.
Yeah, like you're going to get a bigger one next year?
You bet, Fred. We'll be back.
That's the attitude. Okay, Zachary, let's head to the northern lower peninsula.
The northern lower, the first county we're going to be.
Before we check out these counties below the bridge, I want to remind you that I'm not representing this data as a scientific sampling of big bucks or of deer hunting success. I'm just saying that the 4 entries from the 3 UP counties with no entries from the other 12, that's a new all-time record low for entries to our Big Buck Awards from the UP. But the biggest surprise to me from the 40 counties in the northern lower peninsula was from Roscommon County. That used to be, right here, used to be one of the hotbeds of deer hunting in the northern lower. Not for big bucks, but they had more hunters and more deer taken than any other place in the state. This year, Roscommon produced a last-minute entry of a buck that's as big as I ever remember coming from this area. In fact, almost too big to believe. You're not kidding us, are you?
Not at all.
See, Roscommon County, this was one of the last bucks that we got in for an entry. And I said, wow, we finally got one in from Roscommon County because, geez, the reports up there have been dismal.
They were terrible, really. Our hunting party, I was the only one that got a deer out of our party.
And may I ask you what county you got it in?
I got it in Roscommon County.
I feel like I'm talking to a fisherman here. I was trying to visit some different lake.
This isn't the one that got away, though.
Roscommon County. This has got to be one of the biggest bucks ever in Roscommon County.
202 pounds.
Whew. I am impressed. Roscommon County almost didn't even make it this year. You saved the day.
Thank you.
An amazing buck from Roscommon. That's an area that has never been noted for big bucks. A lot of public land, tremendous hunting pressure, rare to see a buck that size. But here was another surprise. We're talking Clare County right here. Now, Clare County has been a quality deer management area, I think, for the past 5 years. Pretty much run its course, apparently. It does have lots of private land. Hunters can't take any bucks that don't have at least 3 antler points on one side. Now, this county was supposed to be producing lots of big bucks by now. We've only had 3 entries so far, 2 10-pointers and a 9-pointer that qualified because it had a huge outside spread.
Clare County now, Fred, this was taken opening day. Listen to this, a 24-inch spread. Our hunter is from Grand Rapids. He got this in Clare County. Scott Disselcone.
Scott, you know, Clare County has been one of those big buck, 8 points and up counties.
Yep, this I've been hunting by Marion since I was 14 years old, and this is the one of the biggest bucks we've seen taken up there. And this one won the Marion Buck Pole Contest, and so I had a lot of fun with this buck this year.
Well, I guess a 23-inch spread.
Yep.
Wow, that's a whopper. One huge one from Clare, the quality deer management experiment that's run its course. Next week, I'm going to review the quality deer management areas against our big buck entries so you can draw your own conclusions. Now let's look at a couple of western counties here where hunters have reports that seem to be fairly typical for 2004.
We're headed to Newaygo County now. This hunter got this a couple of days before Thanksgiving. A 22 3/8-inch spread from Fremont, Warwick Maxfield.
Warwick, that's quite a spread. Not many get up into this 2-foot range.
Wow.
Wow.
Yep, 13 years it took me to get him.
Now, well, yeah, this one isn't like a 13-year-old buck.
Oh, no.
But this one is a particularly widespread, but not a real heavy rack.
No, he was aged at 3.5.
Huh.
That's what they're saying.
How was the hunting in your area?
Slow.
Isn't that something?
This is the only buck I seen.
Well, how do you feel getting the last buck in Newaygo County? Oh,
Real good.
son of a gun. Zach? Cody, this is a heavy one.
Yep.
How old are you? You're still 14?
Yeah, 14.
14, that's hard to get out, but holy cow, this is really a tremendously heavy rack. Your first year gun hunting, of course.
Yep.
That is something else. How did everybody else in your hunting party or family do?
We didn't see any for like 3 weeks. This is the first one.
And you, hey, that's good composure to be able to take a buck like that. But I tell you, this is a heavy one. I wish you could feel how heavy this is, Zach. Whoa. Now, those two counties were in the western side of the northern lower peninsula. Let's go over here to the eastern side. This county here is where I hunted last year without success. It's on the fringe of the TB zone. We only had 2 entries from this county. They were from 2 brothers. One had a buck with an 18-inch spread. The other had a 10-inch tine. These 2 brothers were apparently in a hot spot.
We're moving to Ogemaw County. We have 2 entries in Ogemaw County, one taken opening day, one taken the 20th. From Holly, we have Scott Rezchek, and from Waterford, Paul Rezchek.
Related?
Brothers.
Brothers, you even say it together.
Yep.
Okay, let's see. Who's the older brother?
I'm the older brother.
You're the older brother, so you should have got the biggest buck.
He could get out opening day. I had to come up on Thursday for rifle.
You know what? This is a cute rack. I would be I love spikes. I have a spike collection myself.
Well, he was on top of a doe right before he met his demise.
Ooh, this is family television. Okay. Now, what about yours? Was he behaving himself?
Oh, yeah. I passed on 5 different bucks opening morning.
You're kidding
I
me.
passed on that one at 7:30 in the morning.
Ogemaw County?
Yeah, I went 15 minutes till 1 o'clock without seeing a deer. I saw a deer all day. And this come out at 1 o'clock and 250 yards, 1 shot, down.
You like to talk about it, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
If we had more time.
Especially in Ogemaw County.
If we had more time, we would, Zach. I think you have the flavor of the success in the Upper Peninsula, the northern lower. As I said, if you look at the number of big buck entries, the statistics were really less than impressive than ever from what used to be Michigan's traditional deer country. Most of the big bucks, and by far the biggest bucks, came from the southern tier of counties down here, these 4 rows. There are 28 counties. We had 115 entries. Let's check out a couple of 23-inch spreads from Ionia and Jackson County. So 23-inch spread, and that's a 6-point.
Yeah,
6
kind of
point.
unique. Fortunate that a good friend of mine, Joe Hartman, lets me hunt at his place, and there's lots of big deer there.
Man, that's something for a 6-point, though. Yep. Beautiful to see something like that. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Mark, wow. Would you rather have more points and a smaller spread?
No, I'm pretty happy with this deer.
Man, you should be.
Everyone told me I should let it grow another year, but I thought it was a good time to take it.
Yeah, right. Now, where you were hunting, people see a lot of deer?
My uncle got a deer, and other than that, that's been about it.
Huh.
It was a pretty slow year.
Well, you did real good. I think you took this one at the right time.
I think so, too.
Way to go. 2 things we learned from Big Buck Night is that there's a formula for getting a big buck. It's location, 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 plus luck. That's how most hunters get the big ones.
Also from Kent County, this was taken the 5th of November, a 24 3/8-inch spread from Sparta, Nolan Davis.
Nolan, how old are you?
15.
Man, 50. You were out there sitting in the blind by yourself?
Yep. My grandpa was sitting over down the field a little bit. I was sitting in his stand.
Ah, and he said, Nolan, a big buck's coming?
Well, it came around behind me and he was in front of me, so I told him it was coming towards him after I shot it.
Oh, after you shot it, well, way to go. You know, you kept your cool on this, and that's a huge buck of a lifetime. Congratulations, Nolan.
Thank you.
Fred, we're moving over to Monroe County where we have a couple of lucky hunters that took a 17-pointer, 11-pointer. They're from Carlton, Chuck Kohlert Sr. and Jamie Kohlert.
Now hold it. You're Chuck Kohlert Sr.
Correct.
Jamie Kohlert?
Yes.
And who's the kid with the deer?
He's my grandson.
Oh,
Jacob.
okay. Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
So we have three generations of Kohlerts here.
Exactly.
And who got what?
I got this one. November 21st.
That was your, is this your son?
No, that's my brother's son.
Okay. Well, we got quite a family going here. We got Kohlerts all over the place and big bucks all over the place, and you got this, Papa.
Yes, I did.
Holy cow.
Second day.
8 o'clock in the morning.
Have you ever seen anything like this where you were hunting?
Never.
I mean, that is...
it's a buck of a lifetime.
It certainly is, and you've set a fine example for your family.
Thank you, sir.
Way to go, Papa. Another thing we see when we talk hunting and fishing with kids is that very few kids pick up outdoor activities on their own. They're generally introduced to the outdoors by a family member, like a dad, grandpa, uncle. And just so you know, we're planning on taking this television show and the Practical Sportsman Foundation in that direction during the coming year. We're working out the details now, but mentoring between adults and kids is going to be a major focus of what we do starting in 2005. Well, you know that the antlers fall off of the heads of deer each winter, and looking for sheds can be a fun project for families and kids. And in the southern lower part of Michigan, where the deer are big, the sheds are big, and that makes them easier to find. Now we're going to close this review of Big Buck Night with two from Livingston County. This has been the leader in the number of entries so far with 12, and the last one is going to be from Washtenaw, right below it. That has 9 entries so far, and it also produced Bubba. And I'm holding the rack, and our man here, Jason Hardesty, what do you have?
I have his sheds from last year, and I have a shed from the year before.
And actually, they're quite durable when you think about it.
Hey, quick, I wanted to thank Nick Mastenbrook. He really helped me get this deer, and my wife for letting me hunt so much, all the hours I put in.
Oh, man, it sounds like there's a lot of payoffs going right here, but this is tremendous buck and a neat history behind it. Oh, I tell you, these people are bringing in the sheds. Now, this is weird. Is this because you live on farms and you can scout around there in the winter, or what?
Nope. I met a guy at the Dexter Buck Pole, and when we found out we hunted across the street from each other, he said, "I found the shed to your deer."
I'll be darned.
So, he brought it here tonight.
Isn't that something?
Yep.
Boy, that is a massive rack. That on the buck pole, that makes the rest of them look small, doesn't it?
Yep. It's been a fun season.
I guess, and getting funner all the time.
Yep, it is.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, we do have another one. 17 points taken in Washtenaw County, 26 1/8 inch spread from Detroit, Michael Markham.
From Detroit.
Yes.
Wow. A Detroiter gets probably, oh man, I don't know why we don't have a category for the weight, because this is really something. This is a tremendously heavy rack, and you got the drop tine that I love. You got all the points anybody would want. A spread that is wider than anything here this evening, over 26 inches. And you got this in Washtenaw County.
From Michigan.
Not on state land.
Oh, private property.
Private property. That is outstanding. Michael Markham, hold that up there. I think you got possibly the biggest one. If not, it looks like the biggest one here on Big Buck Night. That is outstanding.
Thank you.
Well, that wraps up our initial analysis of Big Buck Night, gives you an idea of where the bucks were and weren't, which may reflect where the deer were and weren't. I have some information about this show and public TV to clue you in on, and I'll get to that after Zachary's Guides report about the conditions as we head into the late hunting seasons and ice fishing.